Blossom. We're going to do another grammar lesson today. We're going to be looking at another suffix. Don't forget a suffix are some letters that you add to the end of the root word to change the meaning. Okay, so the suffix we're going to be learning about today is adding and the suffix est. You tend to use these when you are comparing things. You're comparing quantities or you're comparing items. That's when you tend to use this suffix and est. So let's have a think. If we were comparing things as in size, you could use big. You could say something is long. You could say something is short. Let's think of small. Let's think also of light. Something is light. Something is heavy. So you tend to use these when you are comparing items. Okay, Blossom? So let's think about the word big. So if you were saying something was big, if you added the it means it's getting bigger. Okay, so I'm going to be bigger. So something is big, that is the biggest. So when you add that word, the est, it means it's the most. Okay, so let's think about if you had a line that was long. You could say then you've got a longer line, long, bit longer, so you're adding that suffix on the end. And then you could say that line is the longest. Longest. Okay, so you're adding that est on the end of it. And then you could think we're comparing the size of something, you're thinking which is the shortest. So we're going to go short, it's short. Then you could say that line is slightly shorter, so it's getting smaller now. And then you could say that one is the shortest. We'll do a little bit, some diagrams in a minute to demonstrate that. And then you could say also, that mouse is small. But if you add small mouse, that one is smaller, which means it's even smaller. And then if you add the est, smallest, the smallest. Okay. Let's think about these root words. So you could say that something is light. So if you had some scales, you could say something was light. And then you could weigh something else and it weighs less. So you would say it was light, that is lighter than that. And then if you weighed something else and it was even lighter, so really like be the lightest. So you're comparing things. And in this one, it's going backwards, isn't it? Going smaller. We could also do this with the lightness of maybe fabric. You could have something yellow and you could say that's a light yellow. That one is slightly lighter, so a little bit paler. And then you could say another yellow top. That's the lightest, so maybe that yellow top is virtually maybe creamy white colour. Okay. So then you could measure something and think about the height or the heaviness of something. So you could say that is heavy, but that is heavier. So if you were to think about a little animal, so maybe a mouse or a guinea pig, so you could say that's quite heavy. Okay, put it on some scales or you could just feel it in your hands. But then you could maybe get a dog, weigh a dog, and you'd say, oh, the dog was heavier than our little guinea pig. Then, my goodness, if you were to get like an elephant, you could say that's heaviest. So can you sing now, Blossom? You're using the and the est onto the end of your root word, the word that you're going to be describing something. So you tend to use this suffix when you are comparing things. So let me just help you out here. So if you had 3 lines and you wanted to compare them and think about which the length of them. So you could say that's a short line. And then if you were thinking, oh, but this one is a short line. This one is longer, isn't it? But this one is longest. just going to cross that out, Mrs. Short, and put long there. That's long, that's longer, and that's the longest. Okay. Then if you maybe had some weighing scales, so you've got to pretend that Mrs. Shaw's drawn some weighing scales, and you know I can't draw, so these are not very good. So if you put something on here, and this weighed 5 grams, and then you weighed something on here and it weighed 9 grams, because we measure weight in grams and kilograms. And then if you measure something in here and this was 20 grams, you could say, gosh, that's heavy. But you know what? This item here is heavier than this one, and then this one is the heaviest. So if you think about when you're comparing things, so why don't you maybe at home, Blossom, get some items in your house and maybe do a little bit of comparing. You could, like I said, you could look at the length of them, how tall they are. You could use the word tall. It's tall, it's taller, it's tallest. So in that way, it's going upwards, isn't it? It's big, it's bigger, it's the biggest. It's long, it's longer, longest. And then we talked about this one going the other way. It's small, that one's smaller, that's the smallest. Okay, but that's your suffix, s and So maybe, like I've just said at home, have a go with looking at maybe some items in your house, and could you maybe take some pictures, and could you put some words in to compare the items, add in your and your est, and take a picture and send them in. That would be fantastic. Bye.